Have you ever wondered how a massive semi-truck managed to steal the spotlight from one of the coolest muscle cars ever made? We're talking about Snowman's legendary 1974 Kenworth W900A, the big rig that outshined the Bandit's Trans Am in Smokey and the Bandit. Yeah, the Pontiac Firebird might have gotten the posters and the fanboys, but this truck? This truck carried the entire movie. Literally. No Kenworth. No beer, no movie. End of story. This rig wasn't just a background prop. It was a rolling outlaw icon. A giant steel middle finger aimed at every police car in the southern United States. Whenever that thing rolled across the screen, you felt it. The rumble, the height, the chrome stacks towering like skyscrapers compared to the puny cars trying to stop it. It was the heavyweight champion in a movie full of featherweights. But here's the weird part. Most people don't even know what they were actually looking at. They think they saw a black truck. Wrong. It wasn't black. They think it was just one truck. Nope. It took multiple Kenworth W900As to make this movie possible. And wait till you hear what was real and what was pure Hollywood trickery. So buckle up, grab your cowboy hat, and crank up Eastbound and Down. Because today we're counting down 22 weird facts about Snowman's 1974 Kenworth W900 that'll make you see this highway legend in a completely new light. And trust me, number 1 will hit you harder than Buford T. Justice hitting his own patrol car. Let's roll. Number 22. Not one truck, 3 different. Kenworths. You'd think a movie like Smokey and the Bandit would pamper its main truck star. Keep it safe. Cherish its beauty. Maybe whisper sweet diesel lullabies into its air vents. Nope, they beat the heck out of these rigs, which is why they needed more than one. The production actually used 3 Kenworth W900A trucks to play Snowman's ride. 2 were 1974 models, and 1 was a 1973 Kenworth 50th Anniversary Edition, with a shiny gold emblem on the grille. The film bounced between them, depending on the stunt, the shot angle, or how badly the last take smacked up the bumper. One truck was the hero rig, used for close-ups, glamour shots, and whenever Jerry Reed needed to look like the coolest trucker alive. Another rig handled the stunt driving and all the fender-crunching action scenes. And the third? Backup unit, because when you're doing high-speed runs with a full-size semi, things explode, and break, and occasionally catch fire. So next time you watch the movie and swear something looks different, congratulations, you just spotted one of the truck's stunt doubles. Number 21. Real diesel muscle. No fake Hollywood engine here. Unlike plenty of movie cars famous for being all bark and no bite, this bad boy brought real power. Under that long, glorious hood lived a genuine diesel monster. Engines like the Cummins NTC 350 or Caterpillar power plants depending on the truck used in the scene. These weren't delicate movie props. These were engines meant to haul serious loads across the country. And when you hear Snowman downshift and that truck roars, that's not a sound designer messing with a computer. That's the real growl of a heavy-duty Class 8 truck telling the world it has torque for days. Which, by the way, it did. While the Trans Am darted around like a hyperactive house cat, the Kenworth was the lion. Slower maybe, but unstoppable. When that diesel grumbled, even Sheriff Buford T. Justice should have known. Maybe we should stop messing with the big guy. Hollywood didn't need to fake the intimidation. The Kenworth came factory installed with Terrify Every Cop Car mode. Number 20. The truck wasn't black, it was dark coffee brown. Everyone remembers a black truck storming down the highway like Darth Vader on wheels. But your memory is playing tricks on you. Snowman's Kenworth wasn't actually black. It was painted a deep coffee brown, topped off with gold pinstriping and gold letterwork. The reason you don't notice? Lighting, movie cameras, and bright sunlight made the brown appear pitch black on screen. The director loved the effect. It made the truck look meaner, stealthier, and way more dramatic. But in person, you'd notice a hint of chocolate in that paint job. This wasn't an accident. That darker shade let the chrome stand out like jewelry, and the gold stripes matched the beer cargo theme. Illegal but fancy. So, technically, Snowman wasn't riding in a dark villain truck. He was driving a very angry cappuccino. Number 19. A real sleeper cab, because Snowman actually needed sleep. Most movie trucks are fakes. Hollow shells with no real functionality behind the fancy chrome. But Snowman's Kenworth wasn't Hollywood decoration. It came with a real 36-inch sleeper cab, the kind long-haul truckers rely on when they're halfway across the country and out of clean underwear. This wasn't some slapped-on studio prop. It was a functioning rolling home. Why does that matter? Because Snowman wasn't just driving a truck in the story. He was living the trucker life. Long nights, sketchy diners, illegal beer hauling from Texarkana. You know, the usual. The sleeper cab added authenticity. The bed, the storage, the little nook to keep your boots and sandwiches. Jerry Reed, being a real-life musician who spent years on the road, loved this detail. It wasn't glamorous, but it was legit. And in the movie, there's something oddly comforting about seeing Snowman crash in that sleeper. As if saying, when the world is chasing you, at least the bed comes with you. Number 18. The Stagecoach Trailer. A true outlaw. Symbol. Snowman's truck wasn't just pulling any ordinary box on wheels. The trailer itself was a full-blown cinematic flex. That Hobbs brand trailer featured a massive, custom-painted mural. A Western stagecoach being chased by bandits on horseback. Yep, the trailer straight up spoiled the entire plot. It was a giant moving metaphor rolling down the highway. Think about it. A runaway load of Coors beer being smuggled across state lines while law enforcement desperately tries to shut it down? That stagecoach artwork basically screamed, "We're the outlaws here! Come and get us if you can!" It was like putting a neon sign on the back saying, "Wanted, dead or alive. Free beer inside." And here's the fun twist. The design wasn't just for show. It matched the whole theme of American rebellion and Southern road culture. The 1970s loved the idea of romantic outlaws, and Snowman's trailer let everyone know he wasn't some boring delivery guy. He was a modern-day cowboy, with 18 wheels instead of a horse. So while Bandit distracted the cops up front, Snowman was literally towing the Old West behind him. A rolling art piece that said, "This ain't a chase. It's a legend." Number 17. That Thermo King unit? Totally fake. If you spotted the Thermo King refrigeration unit bolted to the front of the trailer and thought, "Cool, they're keeping that beer ice cold," well, bad news. It was a total fake, a movie prop, a beautiful lie. The thing didn't even have a fuel tank connected to it, which means it couldn't chill a glass of water, let alone 400 cases of Coors. Why fake it? Branding and realism. A beer run that crosses state lines should look refrigerated. The prop sold the idea that Snowman's cargo was legit, not a bootlegging stunt that Buford T. Justice would want to tackle head-on. It was the cinematic version of wearing a suit to look respectable. Even if you're smuggling booze in the back, this is one of those sneaky details you never notice unless someone pauses. The film zooms in like a conspiracy theorist. Next time you watch it, look closely. The unit is basically a big plastic box doing absolutely nothing except lying to the audience's face. Number 16. The Bullbar wasn't always there. It was added just to smash stuff. Snowman's truck looks like it could plow through a brick wall without asking for permission. And honestly, in some scenes, it does exactly that. But here's the twist. The big, intimidating bull bar on the front of the truck wasn't a standard feature. It wasn't even on the truck the whole time. It was added only when the script called for metal-on-metal carnage. When the filmmakers planned a scene where the Kenworth would ram police cars, road signs, or anything foolish enough to exist in its path, they would bolt that bull bar right on the nose like a set of brass knuckles. The stunt team knew Snowman would be clearing the highway like a bowling lane. And the last thing they wanted was to dent the pretty chrome grille every time a cop decided to play bumper tag. This creates a fun game for fans. Spot the bull bar. In calm scenes, no bull bar. In chaos scenes, it magically appears like the truck suddenly decided to go full war mode. Number 15. The truck doesn't look polished. It's dirty, battered, and real. Unlike a sleek studio car that rolls off a soundstage in perfect condition, Snowman's 1974 Kenworth W900A shows up on screen looking like it just fought a bad week on the road. And that was totally on purpose. The production team didn't try to keep the rig pristine. They embraced the grime, the scratches, and the worn look. You'll see real dents, scraped chrome, and mud-splattered tires in the background of key scenes. And these weren't cleaned up for the glamour shots. Why go this route? Because the story demanded credibility. Snowman is hauling contraband, racing across states, being pushed to the limit. If his truck looked showroom fresh, the illusion would fade. The Battered Aesthetic says, "This is one long haul from hell." Real truckers will tell you, after a 24-hour non-stop run with minimal rest, you're going to look rough. And it helps sell the drama when cops are crashing into things, the rig is dodging obstacles, and the trailer's back end is about to kick out. Instead of hiding wear and tear, the film shows it, and that choice makes every jump, skid, and ram feel real. Number 14. Snowman's rig was actually the real star of the movie. Let's be brutally honest for a second. Without Snowman's Kenworth, Smokey and the Bandit wouldn't even be a movie. Roll credits. End scene. The entire plot depends on that truck hauling 400 cases of Coors back to Atlanta. Bandit isn't the one doing the actual crime. Snowman is. Bandit's shiny black Trans Am? Just a flashy distraction car whose whole job is to annoy the cops, while the truck does the real illegal work. Every time that Kenworth is rolling, the stakes are real. Cops aren't chasing Bandit because of speeding tickets. They're trying to stop a black market beer smuggling operation. The W900 is the beating heart of the story, the mission vehicle, the whole reason the chase exists. But what did the public obsess over? The flashy sports car, the hood bird, the squealing tires. Snowman's truck got overshadowed like a heavyweight boxer stuck behind his loudmouth hype man. This is Snowman's movie as much as Bandit's. The truck was just too humble to brag about it. Number 13. The truck was the price and the prize of the haul. In the film's plot, the big bet is simple. Haul 400 cases of Coors beer from Texarkana to Atlanta. But what rarely gets mentioned, the truck itself was both the mission vehicle and the prize. In other words, the people setting up the job, Big and Little Enos Burdett, didn't just want the beer. They wanted the truck to succeed. If the rig failed or got caught, it wasn't just the beer gone, it was the deal, the bet, and in many ways, the whole scheme collapsing. That means every time you see the truck powering down the road, you're watching the jackpot on wheels. The fact that the run succeeded, against all odds, gives the W900A not just utility in the story, but symbolic weight. Snowman's rig is literally the reason the bet exists, the reason the chase exists, the reason Bandit exists. Number 12. The wide hood W900A was chosen for pure visual dominance. When it came time to pick a truck for the daring beer run in Smokey and the Bandit, 1977, the production team didn't just grab any semi-tractor off the lot. They went for a model designed to stand out. That's why they chose the wide hood version of the Kenworth W900A, a long bonnet Class 8 rig with presence. The wide hood distinction, production 1965-1982, gave the truck visual weight, longer hood, bigger radiator front, and a bold profile that the camera loved. Why does that matter? On screen, the truck needed to look massive, trustworthy, and loaded with power, even before it started hauling illegal beer. That long hood meant the vehicle looked capable of anything, rumbling across state lines, reeling in ropey cops, or plowing through obstacles. The filmmakers leveraged that rugged design to make Snowman's rig feel like a character in itself, not just a vehicle. So while the Trans Am might get the flash, the Kenworth W900A got the stance. Because when you're portraying a truck that's hauling 5 tons of contraband and outrunning the law, you don't pick a compact. You pick a beast. Number 11. Those towering exhaust stacks weren't just for looks. If you paused the screen on a scene featuring Snowman's rig, you'd notice something striking. Towering dual exhaust stacks on either side of the cab, reaching up like church steeples over a highway. But they weren't there just to look cool, though they definitely did. These tall stacks served a practical purpose in the chaos of filming high-speed truck scenes. First, they helped channel exhaust fumes up and away from the driver and cast on long takes, which mattered on those early morning road shoots when everything was hot and humid. Second, their height meant any scraping or sideswiping the rig endured. During stunts risked hitting the stacks first, rather than damaging cleaner parts of the truck, and intentional safety and maintenance strategy behind the cinematics, when the rig roared over a highway overpass or blasted past a Georgia State Patrol car. Those stacks framed the silhouette and made the truck look even more massive against the sky. Number 10. A true trucker hero, loved across real American highways. When Smokey and the Bandit hit theaters in 1977, no one expected a semi-truck to become a cultural icon. But Snowman's Kenworth W900A, it instantly became a hero of the highways. Real truckers saw themselves on screen, not as background characters, not as stereotypes, but as the heart of the journey. The movie soared to massive popularity and brought trucking culture, CB radios, and long-haul rebellion straight into mainstream entertainment. During the late 1970s, trucking wasn't just a job, it was a lifestyle movement. CB slang was viral before viral existed. Every truck stop across America buzzed with people quoting Snowman and Bandit. And drivers took pride knowing a big rig had finally stolen the spotlight from muscle cars. The W900 was even featured in multiple auto and trucking publications, celebrated not as a prop, but a symbol of the working class hero. So while fans drooled over the Trans Am in posters, truckers tapped their dashboards and said, "That right there. That's my ride, number 9. More than a movie prop, it was a fully functional freight hauler. You might think the big rig in Smokey and the Bandit was just for show, painted up, polished, all Hollywood glam. But the truth? The Kenworth W900A, driven by Cletus Snowman Snow, functioned like a legitimate Class 8 freight truck, not just a movie set piece. Sources show the W900 line was built for real highway use, hauling serious loads over long distances. That means when the truck rumbled into frame, it wasn't just delivering narrative, it was delivering realism. The production team didn't sculpt it into something unrealistic and pristine. They kept it rooted in trucking practicality. Real sleeper cab, real diesel power, real chassis and trailer. Even as the comedic action unfolded, the rig still looked like it could keep working long after the credits rolled. In other words, Snowman's ride didn't quit at fade out. It was built for the road, and the camera captured that truth. Number 8. Jumped, rammed, and abused. It survived the filming carnage. When you watch Smokey and the Bandit, you'll notice moments where Snowman's rig plows over signs, barrels, even an entire fence. Here's the crazy truth. The truck used in those scenes wasn't treated like a precious prop. It was a workhorse subjected to full-on abuse. One of the trucks carried a large bullbar, just for the ramming sequences. Stunts included high-speed swerve-outs, mailbox destruction, and hauling a fully loaded trailer with simulated contraband. According to historical breakdowns, over the course of filming, multiple units were damaged beyond repair. Scrapes, bent plates, and wrecks became part of the legacy. Because of that, some of the trucks had to be swapped mid-shoot. That means when you watch the same rig in 2 different scenes and it looks a little different, bumpers, emblem colors, minor trim, you're seeing 2 separate vehicles. And yet, despite all this grime, crash scares, and exhaust fumes, the Kenworth W900A stood up and kept hauling throughout the film. Number 7. Snowman's rig was based on a real 70s trucker stereotype. When you watch the big rig rumble down Highway 78 in Smokey and the Bandit, you're not seeing some fantasy truck dreamed up by Hollywood. You're watching the embodiment of a real-life 1970s highway outlaw trucker. The character Cletus Snowman. Snow is based on the men who lived out roots, chain-smoked, ate diner burgers, rolled heavy loads at midnight, and eyed the law like a predator eyes prey. The truck itself, the Kenworth W900A, mirrors that life. Long hood, sleeper cab, heavy chrome, dual exhaust stacks, and a trailer so loaded it looked like it was dragging state lines behind it. Number 6. The trailer was heavier than it looked. Real freight physics in action 1. The thing that sets Smokey and the Bandit apart from most Hollywood chase movies is this. Snowman's truck wasn't towing a lightweight empty prop. It was hauling a full-size freight trailer, the same kind you'd see moving real cargo across the country. The trailer used was based on a true commercial setup. A Class 8 highway combination designed for long-distance hauling with a working diesel tractor up front. That weight wasn't just a background detail. It shaped the action. Every turn demanded wide arcs. Every swerve from cops risked fishtailing a 53-foot metal box. And when Snowman needed power to pull uphill or outrun the law, that diesel engine had to put in real work to move the load behind it. The W900 platform was built to move serious freight across long routes, and the movie leaned on that capability for authenticity. Snowman wasn't just driving. He was wrestling a highway beast the whole way home. Number 5. The best shots used real high-speed road driving, no CGI shortcuts. Here's where it gets wild. The chase scenes involving Snowman's rig weren't crafted in a soundstage filled with green screens. Nope. The production took the Kenworth W900A out on real highways, real traffic conditions, and real danger. In the late 1970s, the know-how for trucking stunts was raw. You committed to the road, the truck, and the unforgiving physics of heavy freight. Enthusiast sources say that rigs were driven at elevated speeds with the trailer fully loaded. meaning the truck and trailer looked like a legit Class 8 combo barreling down the interstate. Contrast that with many modern movie vehicles that are computer enhanced. Here you see a long hood sleeper rig shifting gears, grappling with momentum, negotiating corners, and carrying the full load of the plot. The holes in the trailer walls, the dust kicked up behind the wheels, the strain on the front axle. Every visual detail reinforces that this truck was working, not just sitting pretty for the camera. When you see it outrunning law enforcement in the film, the tension is real because the engineers deliberately built scenes around a machine meant for hauling, not solo peacocking. So next time the Kenworth slides wide or punches the throttle, remind yourself, that was no minicar in a green screen. Number 4. A semi-truck hero in a car chase industry. Hollywood loves fast cars. Muscle cars, supercars, spy cars with rocket launchers. They get the posters, the fan clubs, and the model toys. So when Smokey and the Bandit rolled into theaters, people expected the Pontiac Trans Am to be the star car. And yes, it looked cool and did all the flashy police taunting maneuvers. But the truth is, the Kenworth W900A is the real backbone of the story. Here's the weird disconnect. The big rig is doing the illegal haul, carrying the risk and literally dragging the entire plot across state lines. Meanwhile, the Firebird just zips around like a caffeinated mosquito, trying to distract the cops. But audiences remembered the Trans Am more because sports cars are the entertainment industry's comfort food. Shiny, loud, and sexy. Yet truckers, the people who live on highways, knew what was up. The W900A got a completely different kind of love. It became a symbol of rebellion, horsepower, blue-collar pride, and keep on truckin' attitude. Number 3. Smokey and the Bandit boosted Kenworth's real-life popularity. Before Smokey and the Bandit hit theaters, the Kenworth W900A was already respected in the trucking world. A reliable long hood hauler known for durability and cool factor among real drivers. But after the movie, its popularity exploded like a set of duels hitting a nail strip. Suddenly, everyone wanted to be Snowman. Real truckers saw themselves represented on the big screen, and the truck became a symbol of outlaw toughness and highway freedom. Truck dealers noticed a spike in admiration for the W900A line. Drivers would point to the movie, "I want the Snowman truck." CB radio channels buzzed with fans quoting lines and bragging about their rigs like they were movie stars too. The truck's long nose, chrome stacks, and bold stance became the de facto cool trucker look of the late 70s and early 80s. Hollywood usually creates car trends, but this time, it accidentally made a semi-truck icon. Number 2. Most photos you see are of replica rigs. The originals are ghosts. Look cool. I'll go see Snowman's exact truck in a museum. Here's where reality bites. None of the original rigs have been definitively located. The 3 trucks used for Smokey and the Bandit, 2 from 1974 and 1 1973 anniversary edition, are all considered MIA among serious truck and movie gear. Hunters. Most of the Snowman's truck snapshots you'll find online are tribute builds. The right paint scheme, the stagecoach trailer mural, the tall stacks, the gold pinstriping, but not the actual film vehicle. These replica rigs are lovingly built by fans and truck enthusiasts. And yes, they can come shockingly close to screen accuracy. Yet the fact remains, when you're looking at the truck from the movie, you're very often looking at someone else's dream version of it. The missing. Originals adds a layer of mystique. The actual star of the four. Movie slipped off screen and into legend. It's part of the reason the truck's cultural value soared. Rarity fuels obsession. Folks see the replicas and say, if I can't own the real one, this will do. And they build it to perfection. Number 1. Without the truck, there is no story. Here's the truth that flips the script. If Snowman's Kenworth W900A didn't exist, Smokey and the Bandit would collapse into a car chase movie with no real heart. The plot centers on hauling beer across state lines, the risk, the load, the route, and that load rides in the truck. The chase isn't about the Trans Am pulling away. It's about the rig hitting the highway and refusing to stop. The Trans Am is flashy, yes, but the Kenworth is mission control. Let's break it down. The beers? Load behind the truck. The bet? The truck makes it. The pursuit? The cops chase the truck. Everything else is built around those 18 wheels and that long hood sleeper cab. That's why Snowman's rig didn't just pull heavy metal. It pulled narrative weight. It carried the story across the screen and into cultural legend.